Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I'm gonna fix my hair. Oh. Hey, Laney. Am I? Oh, wait. Okay. You can hear me, Laney? Okay, good. Oh.
You're coming in loud and clear.
Oh, so are you, sweetheart. So good to see you. Uh-huh. And Brenda's here. She can hear us. Nice. And I'm sure we'll be getting more people here in just a second. Are you having a great Thursday? Or what day is it? Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
It feels like Thursday.
Don't forget to announce our Super Sunday tomorrow.
Sunday. Or what?
We have a Super Sunday in Wichita Sunday.
Oh, you're having a Wichita Super Sunday?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll put that on my little thing for tomorrow, too.
Yeah, with Stan and Laura.
Stan and
Kelsey and Dustin.
Okay, that's getting to be a lot now.
It's all on the meeting locator.
Oh, okay.
For the 20th, so just look at that one.
All right.
I'll have some more people joining me here pretty soon.
Okay, good. Very good. Let's see, what do we got here? I got 2 chats happening. I'm wondering if Tom is going to send me, if he's on here. I just sent the link to Bob. Okay. Oh, Laney. Hi, Tom. All right. We're getting some more people on here. Noah's on here. I can't see your face, though, Noah. It's all black. Is your camera working? Margaret. Oh, I'm starting to see Noah. Oh, there you are. All right. Let's see who all's on here. Oh my gosh, I had an amazing time down under, and it was so much fun to see everybody and such a small group. And I'm thinking that that's how these regionals are going to be. You know, they're going to be a little bit more intimate than how, you know, the conventions are. So getting to really hang out with people, which is something that we got to do, that was fun. So, I'm pretty sure those guys are going to get on here any second. No, that's crazy. Okay, now it's a picture of you. Funny. All right.
How's it going, Marianne?
It's going good. It's good to hear your voice and see a picture of you.
You got any jet lag?
Yeah, I had a little bit the first couple days. I think it's kind of funny because while I was down there, I still waking up at 3 in the morning working, you know, doing stuff. because interacting with the U.S. and then, 8:30 over there, I was ready to go to bed. And Ken kept saying, stay up a little longer. And then it'd be like 9:30. I don't know. I'm so tired. But, yeah, Tom said to get acclimated as quickly as you could. And I think taking naps, if I had taken naps, that might have helped a little bit. But I just kept going and going and going. But it was too much fun. Too much fun. Didn't want to miss anything. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can call Tom. Because, and Bob, too, because I just messaged him. All right, let me see if I can call Tom. Hang on a second here.
What? Who are you calling? Have you got Crisp yet?
No, I just messaged him because he has the link. I sent him the link.
Yeah, he just texted me.
What'd he say? Is he not able to get on?
Well, he was just, no. So give me 1 second, you guys, you pretty little people. Hi, you pretty little people. Can you still see me?
I don't see. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh, there you are. Let me put you on.
Oh.
There you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just messaged Bob and asked, I said, were you able to get on? Because I sent him the link, and he said, thanks. So he has the link.
Well, what is it? The guy probably doesn't have he's old like me. He probably doesn't have, he can't even see the screen.
Oh.
I just sent him I got him too, so we'll be 1 more second.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. How are you? And I hope you're all having the best day ever. And I just am home. I'm glad to be home. I'm trying to find you on the screen, but of course, Marianne's not here, so I have no idea what I'm doing. There I am. Oh, Richard Newsy, how are you? What do we got going on here? Not many participants, man, I'm telling you. That's okay. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Noah. Hello, BT Sista, Bystar, Connor Carlson, whoever, somebody down in Florida. Good to see everybody. Let me get this thing rolling and see what we're doing here. So I've been down in Australia, and it's exactly the same down in Australia as it is here, the same that was in Russia, human beings looking for a better life. And what your job is to give them a better life. So, Marianne, you're going to have to really start muting some people because so many aren't muted. So we're getting all kinds of noise going on.
Hold on. I'll mute everybody and then mute you. Hold on.
That's just beautiful. And Bob Crisp is going to be with us. But I had a lot of time to think because I've got to do this big presentation at GoPro here at the end of the month on December 1st, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And inside of that, my job is to talk to 24,000 people, and I am going to talk to them about how they take their life to the next level and become their best them. Because I love Noah Sigmund, and I love Brenda, and I love Lanny, and I love Margaret, and I love Connor. I don't know Connor yet, but I'm going to say this. I want you guys to be your best you. That's what I want you to be. I want you to get so personally developed that people want to join you. And your job inside of that is to help them become their best selves. And that's really not as hard as you might think it is. It's all personal development, and I've done a lot of the Landmark Forum, and I've done a lot of Psy seminars, and I've done Michael Burnoff, and every one of those is the same thing. How do we take our lives to the next level and how do we become better human beings, and how do we move and inspire people without leading them on or misleading them. And that's what this business is all about. And you can look at the product line that you are in love with at Youngevity, and you can say to that product line, I am going to get passionate about you, and I am going to be you. And my job is to show you that this product is going to work in your life. And if you guys use that coffee shop interview right, Marianne and I rewrote it, and we really put some serious thought into it. And inside of that serious thought, our goal was to have every one of you realize, A, you can do it, but more importantly, why you're doing it. So Marianne, tell a joke. And
well, I wanted to just share about the coffee shop interview, because I think that it's such a powerful tool. We don't take advantage of it as much as we should, and we don't learn it as much as we should, even myself. And you're so good at it. You've been doing it for so long, but always when I hear you do it, I catch something else, something new, another aspect of it.
so here's where, look at the muscles on Connor. What the heck? You're one buff person. Holy mackerel. Do not make that guy mad. No wonder he was, he wasn't on a screen because he was lifting barbells or something. Then you got Noah and the whole family over there. Everybody's waving. I love those people, all the Sigmunds. I love this thing because it's just so cute. Lanny, she doesn't have a house of people this day, so she's kind of acting flaky. Where's all your friends, Lanny? Get after this thing, man. I'm telling you. You want to be living in Oakley, Kansas all your life? So here's the deal. The prelude to the coffee shop interview, and I put this in, was we are not the center of the universe. Other people are. Number 2, came to realize that paying attention to other people's lives is the secret to success. Number 3, understood that in conversation, it's far better to be interested than interesting. Number 4, made a commitment to contact map literally everybody that we come in contact with each day. I'm going to talk about contact mapping after I get done reading these things to you, because it's the most important part. Number 5, made a conscious decision to move my emphasis from what's in it for me into what's in it for them. Number 6, realize the more that I contribute to the lives of others, the more that's going to be given to me. And number 7, made a vow that in every meaningful interaction that we have with another human being, that they're going to leave feeling better about themselves than they did when they got there. Now, there is no way that if you live your life like that, you are going to be doing anything other than good for this planet. Because there's no room for hate in there. There's no room for judgment. There's only room for love. And inside of that, you've got the ability to really, really make a difference with people's lives. And that's what you're trying to do. I want to leave a legacy behind, a huge legacy. I want to make a mark on this planet. And the mark that I want to make on this planet is thinking globally and working locally. And that means that my community, when I walk off my porch, my responsibility starts. I looked at my little neighbor Fiona across the street this afternoon. Little 9-10-year-old girl that's adorable, and she comes over all the time. And I go, what's the motto at the Chenault household? And she goes, Halloween every day, because I've got all kinds of Skittles there, and I've got all kinds of great stuff, and they know that when they come over here, they're going to go straight to that candy bowl and have whatever the heck they want until their mother catches them. Then they go home bouncing off the walls, and it's hilarious. But Fiona, I was looking at her, and I was looking at her mom, and I was looking at her brother, and I was looking at the fact that there's no dad over there, and I was watching the mom smoking the cigarette. And I got to thinking about that pretty hard because, she's going to head over across the street here in about 2 hours to run a restaurant until about 1 in the morning. And the grandmother's going to come over and watch Fiona and the little boy. And, it breaks my heart It breaks my heart that these kids are in daycare. It breaks my heart that these divorces happen and the moms end up taking these crummy jobs to put the food on the table. And my job is not to make some sort of income claim or product claim or any kind of it's going to be great claim. My job is to look at Fiona's mom, who I don't even know her name, by the way, so I haven't ever interviewed her, but I've judged her from afar, as you can tell. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is show her there's a better way out there where she could have a better life if she would maybe just do some personal development and go to work. And Bob Crisp talks about that all the time. And I was going to talk to you guys about contact mapping if Bob didn't show up. But I have only been in this business a very short amount of time in reference, in comparison to Bob Crisp. I've been in it for 28 years. And Bob is, he's an experienced network marketer with a resume a mile long and successes longer than that. And he's one of the world's nicest guys. And what you don't know about the guy is he loves his mom so much. He loves his kids. I've never seen, he always talks to me about his kids. But who he really always talks about is his mother. And he has organized his life around his mom for many, many years. And even right now, he would love to live in California. But Bob is living down in Florida for one reason and one reason only. That's where his mommy is. And I love him for that. And I just want to bring him on. So Marianne, bring him to the main screen, turn on his microphone, and let this absolute legend in network marketing go crazy. And as I said, it's all telling stories. It's all personal development. It's all making people be the best them that they can become. That's all this takes. So take it away, Bob Crisp.
Well, thank you, Tommy, and welcome back to the United States of America.
Woohoo!
It's good to have you back, buddy.
I'm happy to be here.
Somebody said whenever you left Australia and came back to the United States, the IQ in both countries went up.
Amen to that, man. That's exactly right. So tell us a story. What's going on?
Oh, well, listen, I'm up in the Villages area, which is a retirement community in Florida, and north of Orlando. And up here seeing my mom almost every day and spending a little time hugging on her. She's 89 years old, and I think she just gets tougher every day. We were sitting in the rehab center yesterday, and she said to me, I'm in such good health. And she can't remember anything past 2 minutes, but she's in good health, So I guess it only matters if you think you're in good health, then you are in good health. And so we get a chance to love on her, and I remember so many things. I got started in my own business when I was 7 years old, and the way it happened was I was reading a comic book, and on the back of the comic book, some of you may remember when you were a little boy, they had different advertisements for you to sell things like Cloverine salve and the Grit newspaper and all occasion cards. And people in the small town I lived, there was no store that sold that stuff. So it cost you $20 for 20 boxes of 10 cards each, all occasion cards. And you had to send it off to this fulfillment house in Chicago. So Mom and I walked to the post office and bought a little money order and sent it off to this place in Chicago. $20 was a lot of money for my parents back in those days. And so about 6 weeks later, I got a big box that had 20 boxes of all occasion cards in it. And it had a sales track that came with it. A sales track is you say, they say, right?
Right.
And so I memorized the sales track, and I couldn't find anybody who had memorized their part. So I had to start making up my part and be flexible, 7 years old, I was a cute little kid, put the box of all occasion cards in my wagon, started next door, and Miss Pearlover, who was a widow woman, I bought 2 boxes, the very first sales pitch. And in about a 2-hour period of time, I sold all 20 boxes and came back to the house. And I said to my mom, I made $40 in the last 2 hours. That's more money than my dad made. And so she took her $20 back, and she says, no, you made $20. And I said, well, that's more money than I've ever made in my life. And so I'm going to go to the store and treat myself. And she said, no, if you're going to go to the store and spend that $20, you're not going to have any more cars to sell, and you're out of business right now. So you're going to have to use your $20 to stay in business. So the longest walk I ever made in my life was to the post office to buy another $20 money order with my money, and sent it off to that Chicago house. And 6 weeks later, I got another 20 boxes of cards, and went out. It wasn't as easy to sell those next 20 boxes as it was the first 20 boxes. Now, I tell you that story simply because the principles of business never change. When you build a business, start a business, you invest in that business. When you invest in that business, you take the profits out and you put them right back in the business and grow that business. And
Right.
that's what I learned to do when I was 7 years old. And there's a lot of people in our business, in our industry, who never learned that the business comes first. You know, the Jewish people have a saying: you build your business, then you build your house. You build your business, then you build your house. But you know, Americans are so spoiled. We expect to start out with a house, and a full house full of furniture and brand new car, and go into debt up over our heads, and we never get out. We never see the light of day after we're 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. And then next thing you know, we have a bunch of kids coming along and bills going up. And when you have kids, it means you got to have more expenses. You got to have a bigger house. You got, you know, a lot of other things going on in your life. And so, you know, I learned very early in my network marketing business that things change in life. The person who was doing really well last week may not be doing so well this week. And they may need to change. And they may need to change in the way that they think. And so you start out working on the way you think. I worked on the way I thought. I read books, and you know, the only pleasure that I had as a kid really was to check out a book out of the library. And so I read books about famous people. And I always thought to myself, I'm going to be famous one day. I'm going to be famous one day. And you don't know whether that's going to happen or not. You just hope that it would happen. And so, you know, we become people that build on people's hopes and dreams, and we get things going. That happens. You know, my mother got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. One time I was 12, on my 12th birthday, I got a paper route that had 300 customers. I delivered 300 newspapers every morning in Los Angeles, California, on a bicycle. And my mom would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and wake me up, and I'd go out, and she'd sit on the front porch with me and fold newspapers. And on Sunday, when the papers were so big, she'd get in the car and drive me on the route. So what could I do for a woman like that? You know, it's important for us to touch people and get in touch with people. One of the great talents that exists on this screen right here tonight exists because Tom Chenault has a big heart, and he has a love for people, and he has a knack, a way of having people fall in love with him. And that's a great knack. You know what? Sometimes we weren't taught that as kids. I was 29 years old before my dad ever told me he loved me. 29, can you imagine? From first time he ever hugged me in my life and told me he loved me, I was 29 years old. So, you know, it takes a while for some of us to grow up a little bit. Some of us are 60 or 70 years old and still haven't grown up. But, you know, the business is something that we all have with us, and it takes time. To me, it's always, you know, anytime we get in a spitting contest with people over, notice how I cleaned that up. Anytime we get in a spitting contest with people, you know, what does it take? You want doctor income, but the doctor goes to school for 10 or 12 years to get his income. Then he starts out $250,000 in debt. And yet if somebody gets into our business and they don't make $10,000 in the first 3 months that they're here, or get their $100 back, or whatever it is, they're so upset with themselves, or upset with the company, or upset with us, when in fact, it's going to take some growth, personal growth. Tom says it very well, but you know, it's so easy to say it's all about personal growth, but it's so hard to make the personal growth thing a priority in your life. People say, I don't like to read. I said, tough. That's tough. I said, how long do I have to read these books? I said, until you want to.
Oh, wow.
Then you don't have to. You know, how long do I have to listen to you? How many times do I have to go to these meetings? Every time. You know what? Jim Rohn said many times, he said, it's the meeting you missed. It's the book you didn't read. It's the tape you didn't listen to that is going to matter the most to you. Why would you miss something? See, I'm always afraid I'm going to miss something and somebody's going to say something that I really needed to know. And 6 months later, they say, well, I said that back in February. Oh, really? Well, I missed that February meeting. Well, you shouldn't have missed the meeting. Priorities. Another thing, too, priorities and activities, Tom. Here's the challenge that we face with every single person who comes into business. Everybody is busy. Everybody is busy. Now, they're busy being busy. They're not busy being busy at a high priority item. Which is more important, going to your son's little league game or making sure you can send him to college?
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But we major in the minors, and that is certainly a problem. I hear people, and somebody just asked, I'd like to hear info on how to follow up people that show interest. I either say too much or not enough. And to that, I tell you, and I know Bob's going to give you the real answer, but I'm going to give you the half answer. You want to interview them way deeper than you think you need to interview them. You want to know literally everything that you can know. And when they finally tell you what's really going on with their life, you send them to a tool. So you can't say too little or too much when you're sending people to tools. And so if Tom, Lanny's husband, I think about Lanny's husband, Tom, and I love him. And if I were going to be talking to Lanny, I'd say, you know what? I've got a couple products that might just be interesting to Tom. And I think you should take a look at our website, this Youngevity.com, and this video that's in the back office on that product, because I think this product might just help that Tom's lousy personality, whatever it is that we want to work on a little bit. And the same thing goes on the business side. The name of the game is to use the tools. And Bob Crisp has been a master in using tools because he built that huge organization before. And inside of that huge organization, it was very, very important that he had the tools to create the duplication. Otherwise, he was going to be talking to hundreds of thousands of people one by one. So you are a massive user of tools, right, Bob?
That's exactly right. Without the tools, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. I tell people this little story. We were down in Cabo San Lucas. Goes back now 25, 30 years ago. And we were staying there at the Hacienda Hotel, and they have all these little villas and stuff. And I heard this chiseling. This guy in this villa was beating on the tile. He was taking the tile up off of the floor, and he had a hammer and a chisel. And we were there for 5 days, and by the 5th day, he still hadn't completed, working all day long, hammering and chiseling the old tile off the floor so they could put some new tile down. Now, if he was in the United States, he would have gone down, rented a jackhammer, and in 15 minutes he'd had all of it up. The tool made the difference. So he spent 5 days of his life doing something a tool would have taken 15 minutes to do. The same thing is true here. Dexter Yeager said to his team, he said, look, the tape tells the same story every time. It doesn't make it up. It doesn't enhance it. It tells the same story to number 1 as it says to number 25. So you get perfect duplication. People telling you exactly what to do, exactly the same every time. The tool multiplies the effectiveness of anyone. Look, one person can sell one bottle of product to one person, but 1,000 people can sell 1,000 bottles to 1,000 people. That's leverage. I said this. I have a blog that I on Facebook that I said this week. One of the most important ones I've ever put up. If you haven't read it, you should go back and read it. Really a great blog, and it's on the concept of 2 very powerful words: influence and leverage. The tools give you leverage. The power of influence gives you leverage. The more influence you've got, the more leverage you've got. As you build depth, now listen to me, very important here, because there's two things that people do, two theories of network marketing. Two theories. One is what's called the domino effect, the domino theory, which says I sponsor one, and one goes out and sponsors two, who goes out and sponsors three, and so on and so forth. So my responsibility is to, one, teach one how to do it. One is going to teach two how to do it. Two is going to teach three how to do it, and so on and so forth. The only problem with that is it very rarely works. The only thing that actually works is the other theory, depth, working in depth. And this is what frustrates everybody that doesn't understand. Your friends at church and people like that, they just don't understand how you can work a business part-time in your spare time and do financially what it takes you to do in other aspects of life. So you look at this and you say, listen, the leverage comes by going down. I teach one, and then I teach two, and then I teach three, and then I move on down, leaving the tools behind to teach everybody else for them to learn how to do what I'm doing. Now, I'm going to do two things for you as I build my depth. Two important things. One, I'm going to build you a leg. I'm going to build you a leg. Now, what I'm not saying to you is this. I'm also building me a leg, because I didn't get in the business to make you a success. I got in the business to make me and my family a success. And my major obligation to you is to show you, second thing, show you how you can be a success. Now, number one, when we go to number two's house, you're going to go with me and take somebody. And when we go to number three house, number one, number two is going to go with me and take somebody. We call those feeder meetings. Now, the reason you do this is because you sit down in the beginning and you say, to make the kind of money, I'm going to talk about money, when you caution me not to. But, if you're going to make the kind of money Tom Chenault makes, you're going to have thousands and thousands of people. You don't know thousands and thousands of people. When I got in, I was a music director in a little church that averaged 200 people on Sunday morning, and the average age was dead. So you can't imagine. What a prospect list. People come to church. First Sunday I was at this church, I came out as a music director, and I said to the congregation, let's all turn to page 248 in the hymn books, and let's all stand up and sing, stand up for Jesus. I took one look at the audience and said, forget standing up. We'll just sit down and sing this song. Everybody in the audience had an oxygen tank with them. You can imagine what it was like. And we started a little Sunday school class with couples that had children. There was one baby bed in the nursery, and it was broken. We had babies. We had kids. We wanted to minister to people that had families. This church had no families. Now, I'm saying that simply to you this. If you build the family, this is one of the great things that Tom and Denise Chenault do very, very well, is they build a family. It's a family. I'm here because Tom Chenault made me a member of his family. It was tough, I'm telling you right now, because I don't like Tom that much.
Fact.
But the tool, going back to what Tom's question was, tools make all the difference. Now, let me also say this. The tools have got to have a centrist concept. In other words, they've got to be usable by everyone. You can't have one tool for this group and one tool different for that group. They need to be uniform. They need to teach everybody the same thing. If in Texas they're telling people the first thing you should do is read Bob Crisp's book, Raising a Giant, then in Colorado they should be saying exactly the same thing. Now let me also say this to you. Think big. Never go in. No, never buy one book. Buy a second book so that you can say to somebody, what are you reading now? Well, I'm reading Think and Grow Rich. Really? Is it any good? Yeah, it is. Where do I get a copy? Right here.
There you go.
And you've got a copy for them to have right then and there. Now, as you grow, let me tell you something. I had 300,000 people in my downline was pulling 5,000 and 6,000 people every week on Thursday evening for opportunity. Show of hands, how many of you would like to have an organization like that?
Me.
5,000 people on Thursday evening, every Thursday evening, 5,000 people. We had a opportunity meeting in the Indianapolis 500 ballroom in Indianapolis, Indiana. We had 3,000 people for the kickoff meeting 2 weeks earlier. 2 weeks later, we had 7,000 people for an opportunity meeting. 7,000. That's 4,000 guests in one opportunity meeting, one night. By a show of hands, how many people like to have 4,000 people you're looking out there? All of them not in the business. Why? Why were we able to do that? Tools. We duplicated ourselves. We would go out. I'd get a hotel room that had 500 seats when we only had 100 people. And why would I do that? Here's why I'd do that. I'd point to all 400 of those empty seats, and I'd say, next week, we're going to fill those seats up. And each one that's here tonight, you get 4 of those seats. You can only have 4. You can only have 4. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have everyone go back and claim the 4 seats you want. And I'm going to go around and going to put a business card. You're going to put a business card or a piece of paper with your name on it. That's your seat for next week. And then I would go around and I'd pick up all those pieces of paper in order. And I said, next week when you come back, I'm going to put all these cards on the seat that you put them on. So that when we see the empty seats next week, we can go back and see whose name was on the card and didn't fill that seat.
Wow.
So, a chain is only as strong as its what?
Weakest link.
Its weakest link. How many weak links we got in there? Listen, we are going to put up or shut up. Sometimes you got to call them. You got to call the congregation to action. You're either in the battle or you're not in the battle. It's a fight, folks. It's a fight. The little lady sitting across the street with Fiona, her mother, she's in a battle for her life. You know who she's depending on? She's depending on Tom Chenault across the street, who loves my little girl. Sooner or later, she'll sit down and she'll listen to Tom. See, but it's a fight. So you got to care about that person, right? You got to do it. That's how we built a 300. 1 year later, after we went to this church, 300 people in my Sunday school class on Sunday morning. 300 people on my Sunday school class on Sunday morning. 96 baby beds in the nursery, all of them full every Sunday morning. That's what I started with. But I started with one couple who had a little girl. And I said, we got to go find some people like us. So when you get up in the morning and you look at, the person who's going to, Tom, I love that theme. When I finally got on tonight, I love the theme. I'm gonna leave a legacy. It's a story. I was just reading a book yesterday, and they said, this is the story of my life, and you're writing the story of your life. You get to determine who the hero is. You get to determine what the outcome is. You're writing the story. If you're upset with the story, be upset with the story. Listen, it's okay to be upset with you. Matter of fact, some people should get really upset with it because you look at your bank account and you should be upset. I walked into the bank 2 years after being in the business. I walked into the bank one day with my golf slacks on, and I didn't know what a balance was in my bank account because nobody ever taught me how to balance a bank account. And I said to the girls, I made a $36,000 deposit. And I said to the girl, I said, how much is in that account? And she wrote it on the back of the deposit slip and handed it to me. You'd be amazed at how much was there. It was a lifetime of income for most people. So, it's up to you. You got to do things that get you upset with you. If you're not upset enough, it's probably because you're not working hard enough, right? The tools.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, yeah. And I don't want you getting mad at yourself to a point where you're beating yourself up. I want you to get uncomfortable with your station in life so you can step it up and step out of whatever it is you want to step out of and maybe strive for someplace better. And what I love about the business that we're in, this great direct sales profession that's just absolutely no takeaway, I love it because each and every one of you can find your own why. Your why is different than mine. My buddy Stacy, I just saw her on here, and she's just a rock star that she's a little anonymous because she didn't because I don't even know her last name. But I'm glad she's here, so I don't take it personally. I didn't say your last name, Stacy. But I just want you to know everyone. I mean, this is the way that you, and maybe you're content in your life. And one thing I'm really, really working on, Bob, and I want you guys to work on this, is make darn sure that you're not busting corporate America all the time. Those people in their jobs get tired of you busting them for working in a cubicle, just like you get tired of them calling us whatever we call. And my son, my little boy Adrian, and my little girl Courtney, they're just tiny little toddlers. One's 28 and one's 24, or one's 32 and one's 28. They're so old, but they're, in my mind, they're still like toddlers. And they've got these high-powered jobs, and I'm always burning them and going, you're going to do what I do one of these days. And I finally got to that isn't really fair, because they're doing what they want to do till they don't want to do it anymore, and their pain gets bigger than their pride, and they go change. And even then, because of the job that I've done of ruining their opinion of multi-level marketing, because I've hammered them for so long, they might go do something other than multi-level marketing, even if they do bust out of the profession that they're in, because I drove it down their throat so much that they swore to themselves over my dead body, will I ever do what Dad does. And that might be your neighbors, that might be your friends, that might be everybody else that you're mocking because they have to go to a job every day. So understand that everybody every day is doing all they can to have the life that they've got. And your job as a program of attraction, not promotion, is to show them there's a difference, to be that change that Dave Brisky talks about, to step up to the plate and say, you know what? There is another way to get to the same spot that you've been struggling for 50 years to get to. And what I want to do is have a cup of coffee with you and just show you what I do powerfully. And I don't know that you can do it, but I do know that I want to show it to you because I love you. And that follow-up right there is the follow-up. So if you're wondering what you want to say to people, you say too much, and you say you don't say enough. If you can live in the world, and Bob will talk about this, of what's in it for them, it's going to work. Today I needed something really badly, and I needed it, and I didn't know how to get it. And so I called my friend Don Martin, and I said, Don, tell me who designed your website, because I love the look of your website. And he went and got me the phone number and the web designer and the whole shot, so he could bring me that information, because that's what I was looking for that day. He didn't throw up on me with what was on his website that I loved. He's got a website where he sells all kinds of things. He knew what I was after. He sent me to his website, which had me look at it, and I went from there to the web developer and had a chat with the web developer. Why? Because Don Martin was of service to me, giving me what I wanted. And once he gave me what I wanted, I went to every length to go figure out how to get it. And that's you. What you've got to do is work harder, ask Bob, on finding out what people want and then guiding them to that solution. What that guy did for me today was exactly what we should all be doing in our businesses, determining the need and showing them where the solution is. He didn't call and explain websites to me. He didn't guarantee me the website was going to work. All he did was send me to the tool. Right, Bob?
Well, that's exactly right, Tom. And here's the thing that I think everybody needs to be taught pretty much from the very beginning. Whenever, Tom's is a Broncos fan, right? I'm a Dallas Cowboys guy, America's team. I'm a Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer guy from Oklahoma, and I used to have a T-shirt that said my favorite team is Oklahoma and anybody who beats Nebraska, and we'd thump on our chests and we'd talk about how great we were and how bad Nebraska was, and we hate those Buffaloes up in Colorado, and all that other stuff, and this is our team and we're going to beat the whole world, right? When we're together, My kids are the smartest kids in the world. Now, when your kids are around, I don't tell them that. I don't go to your kids and say to your kids, you know, you're stupid and my kids are smart.
Yeah.
That's not going to win friends and influence people. It's certainly not going to get you to come take a look at my business. So when we're together, Youngevity, when we're together, we can wear our beanies and we can wave our flags and we can holler how great we are. And we can, you know, I went on the Amway yacht the first time in a little rubber dinghy, went by the yacht one day in the harbor up in Nantucket. And I took a picture of the yacht, the little dinghy. And I went home and showed my group these pictures of this beautiful 135-foot luxury motor yacht that we were on. And I said, oh, by the way, while we were up there, we saw Shackley's yacht. And I put up a picture of this little rubber dinghy going by the Amway boat. Now, I didn't go show Shackley people that. I took the dinghy picture for my group to tell my family, I love you. You're the best there is in the whole world. You know, and my buddy Kay Fletcher said the very first time I went and heard him speak, he said, look, you know, if you don't think your kids are the best kids in the world, who is going to think they are? Of course, we think our company is the best. We think Dr. Wallach is the smartest. We think the whole company is the cat's meow. But we say that to each other. We don't go out and beat other people up with how great we are or how great our company is, or my dad can beat up your dad's story. That's a bad story. You know, my son was out in the yard playing one day with the neighbor kid, and the neighbor kid said to me, he said to my son, he said, my dad can beat up your dad. And my son said, big deal, so can my mom.
That's true. That's so cool. Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying is the network marketers who go out there, they come to a rally, they come to an event, they get all excited. We talk about the fact that, you know, entrepreneurs can't stand the fact that they know exactly how much money they're going to make this month. Well, that's something that's related to a corporate person. But we don't go out to corporate America and run them down. We don't say to the company people at Amway or Youngevity or you've got a job, so you're stupid. That's a stupid thing to do, and it's rude. On top of that, it's not polite, and it wasn't for them, as Tom pointed out. So you've got to use some discernment and understand. Let me address an earlier question too, Tom, and that is, you know, follow up. As I do what we used to call night owls, which is meetings after a meeting after a meeting. We do these night owls, and sometimes they go till midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And people, the most often asked question is this one: how do you close the deal? How do you close the deal? I'm a bad closer. I can't get people to write the check and close the deal. Here's the answer. The close begins in the very beginning. If you don't set the close up in the first minute, it's not going to happen in the last minute. You start closing from the very time that you start. Are you serious about the business? Are you ready to make a decision about doing something in your life? What frustrates you most? See, again, sometimes finding the problem, the pain. Again, build your dream. You know what? I think people do things because they're in pain. And I say about your job and about your life you're living right now, what hurts you the most? What are you most frustrated by? You know, most people will tell you, oh, I don't have enough money. I can't pay the bills. Are you ready to do something about that? See, that question, are you ready to do something about that, sets up the close. And at the end, you just say, you know, what's the next step? This is a buying question. People should buy from you. You shouldn't sell them. People buy from me. I don't sell people.
Right.
You're a great salesperson. No, I'm not. You know, I'm just going to help you get what you already want. I'm just going to help you have what you know you want. So at the end, I say, so what can I do for you? Do you see how this business could help you in your life? And can I help you?
Yeah.
That prompts this question. So Bob, what do I do next? So everybody on the call right now, you just say it to yourself. So what do I do next?
So Bob, what do I do next? They can't hear you. You're muted. Yeah. Bob, what do I do next?
Yeah. What do I do next? See, again, it goes back to that's the question every prospect should be asking you at the end. The buying sign is this: how do I buy? What do I do next? People walk out of a meeting or an event or a training or a conference call that on their mind should be, what do I do next? Let me tell you a quick story. I was doing generic seminars about 15 years ago in LA, and I was running an ad in the LA Times that cost me $5,000 for the ad. The ad said, come see the $52 million man. And it had a list of all the things you do. It cost $20 to come. If you brought the ad, it cost you nothing to get in. So I'd get 100, 200, 300 people show up from all the different companies would show up. And one week I was doing a 3-day boot camp. 3 days with me boot camp. And I'm going to talk for 7 hours, 3 days in a row. And people came. We had 300 people sign up for that. At the end of the first day, a tall guy, about 55 years old, came up to me and he said, my name is James Robbins. And he said, I'm Tony Robbins' dad. He said, that was the best seminar I've ever heard anybody do, except for my son.
Wow.
So the next day he came back, and I went through 7 hours again. And after the meeting, James Robbins walked up to me and he said, that was the best seminar I've seen in my whole life anybody's ever done. And he said, it was every bit as good as anything my son's ever done. I nearly cried. The third day, he came back. And I thought, well, I wonder what he's going to think of me. 3 days in a row, it'll never be as good as it was yesterday. And 3 days in a row, he came up to me and he shook hands with me. And he said, in my son's best day, he never did as well as you did today.
Wow.
Now, he stood there in front of me for about 30 seconds silent. And he looked at me, Tom, and he said, here's what I don't know. What do you want me to do?
What'd you tell him?
I didn't know what to tell him. I was so stunned that I'd spent 21 hours with these people. And James Robbins walked up to me and asked me, but I don't know what you want me to do.
And so the lesson we take back from this is send people with marching orders every time, right?
That's exactly right. There's got to be action steps. Here's what I want you to do. We made up a little decision card because at our opportunity meetings, and we passed this decision card out. And we'd say, all you got to do is put your name and your phone number on here and what you want us to do. And it just said, I want to get started. I want to know more. Well, I'm never coming back. You know, and it doesn't matter as long as you tell us what you want us, what you want me to do. And when you ask this question, memorize this question, write it down the best way that you can say it. Tom says it really well. So what can I do for you? What do you want me to do? What's the next step? Tell me what the next step is. And that's the secret to closing the deal. What's the next step?
What can I do to make your life better? That's my favorite sentence.
Yep.
You know what? And you rarely is something, they know I don't know anything about multi-level marketing. So they never say, Tom, train me. They know that they know more than I do. I mean, I learn from every one of you guys. I know that you guys can learn more than me, but I tell you, you can't outlove me. And at the end of the day, I think that's the trick. I think that's where you've got to get to. So fire that brain, hire that heart. That's the most important part. Let people know that your eyes are popping open at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking about their problems. If they believe that, if they get that and they believe that, the party is over. That's all you have to do is get them to understand that you are that person that cares about them more than literally anybody. And once they get that, they will move mountains for you. And that's what and then when you become that person for your customers and your organization, there is no eBay, there's no Amazon, there's no Walmart, there's no eBay sellers, there's nobody that's going to be able to take you down, because you are leading with your heart, you're following up, and when they look customer service up in the dictionary, they see your picture. That's what you want to have happen. I've never worked with anybody like her in my life. That's what you want to have people say about you. If you can get that, Bob Crisp says unbelievably nice things about me all the time. But you have no idea how hard I strive to earn it. And I try to do that with Trish and with Marianne and Richard Newsy and those of you that I talk to on a daily basis, because I have to earn that. And I know that if I exemplify and show you that right behavior, that you're going to do the same thing with your team. And when you do that, your team will stay together through thick and thin, right, Bob?
That's exactly right. See, again, you can't put a fence around people. People are always saying people are dropping out like crazy. They're quitting as fast as I can put them in, and so on and so forth. But it's only because what you want to do is you want to force them to stay in. They stay in because of you. They stay in because of you. Long before the product has done anything for them, they'll stay in because of you. And if you repeat their name like Tom always does, like I try to every time, look in the eye, ask them a question about their family, to compliment something they're wearing, all the things that you do, and you look them in the eye and say, you know what, and going back, my dad was a pastor, and every Sunday morning after his sermon, he'd walk to the back door and he'd shake hands with every single person that came to church that day. So whenever I was doing an opportunity meeting, that's what I did. I just walked to the back of the room and shook hands with everybody who came.
Wow. When you call people on the phone, man, how's your mom, Bob? How's Reese doing, Marianne? How is your beautiful daughter doing, Marianne? That's where you go. You got to go to that. You got to go to what they love. Then you can talk to them about almost anything. But if those people realize you actually care, you know the name of the kid. Is Trish, does Lee still have her job in Pittsburgh? Is she still there? Okay, so you ask about their kids. You do that. You know about families. You know about people. You know what makes people tick. That's what you want to do, is get into their heart, because that's not happening in their day-to-day life. Job or no job, whatever it is, who's sitting behind you on that couch, Marianne? It's making me crazy. Who is that? I can't. So Marianne's got somebody sitting over her. Who is that? Glenn. Oh man, he's lost so much weight I didn't even recognize him. He looks like a hockey stick with hair. It's Glenn, the organic farmer, and he's just such a handsome man. I love him. That's very cool.
He said, thank you, Tom.
All right, that's good news. I wondered who that was. He's adorable. But the name of the game is love like crazy, then love more. You can do that. You can do that. If you have no product knowledge necessary, no comp plan knowledge necessary, and you're not going to get in trouble with any kind of regulator loving like crazy, then loving more. Not one person. I mean, it is, you listen to the old cliche, WWJD, what would Jesus do? Do that. Love like crazy, then love more. You do that, I'm telling you, you guys know this. I get forgiven so many faux pas because I am a train wreck, but you also know I love you. So I get away with it because it's first. Now, if I was coming in like some sort of rocket scientist, you'd be trying to trap me in some sort of mistake so you could hate me more. But I don't do that. And that's what, because I can't. I haven't got the brains. I've got the heart. So that's what you want to do, I think. Don't you, Bob?
Well, I do, Tom, and that's one of the biggest flaws that you have.
What?
It's you love too much.
Probably.
Sometimes I think I just want to I'd want to kick you right in the can and say, you know what, toughen up a little bit. So listen, all of us need love, and sometimes we need tough love. And I know you've been through a lot of that with your family, and different families are going through that themselves every day, and sometimes you got to just be blunt. I don't mean to be mean. I've never intentionally been mean to somebody, because, and yet I sometimes, as you pointed out in the very first time you ever had me on your radio show, that I'm kind of a controversial guy, and a lot of it's just because I get in people's face. I say, look, you're messing around. See, here's the thing with this Zoom thing we're doing right now. Let's be real for a little bit. This is me. This is Bob, being Bob Crisp. If it doesn't get bigger, it gets stopped.
Yeah.
Period. If we can't, we should be having 400, 500 people a week on this right now. And in another 3 months, we should be having thousands of people on this call every week. And if it doesn't get bigger, I'm out.
That's a good idea. Maybe we do that with the chairs. We take the piece it only holds 500. Marianne, you are a buzzkill. So here's the deal. She wrote in the comment thing, it only holds 500. But if we all would take a piece of paper next week, and we might challenge them to do it, and we have the 4 tickets, and we just say, which 4 people did you bring? Just exactly like you talked. We're gonna train your people here. The Hair on Fire call in the morning at 6:30, 8:30 Eastern time, that little 10-minute call trains your people. That's what it's for. It's there to train your people. Bob and I can talk to each other, man. We got more stories for each other, and we can, with you guys not on here, we can lie. So we don't need you guys on here for us to be able to tell each other lies. We can just talk all day long. Why I want to do this is because, yeah, my wife just said that's never been a stopper. But the fact is the reason I want this done is because I want you guys to get access to this guy, because he is spectacular. He comes from a place like you've never seen before. He's done it. Everybody, oh, Tom, you need to have Snapchat. You don't have Twitter. You don't have, no. Here's what I think I need. As long as I have a set of lips and a couple of ears, I think I'm going to be able to compete with any one of these snot-nosed little punks with their cell phones. And that's what I want to do. I want to be that human being that you run into in a coffee shop and you look across the room and you say, holy smokes, I like that guy and I haven't even met him yet. That's who I want to be. I don't want to be that guy you see at the coffee shop that looks like this. Marianne, look up. You're texting somebody. Yeah, like that. No, we want this out of the way, and we want to be mano on mano or mano on womano or whatever it is that I'm trying to say. So, and look at this. Look who finally came into the middle of the picture. Billy Rathke is finally centered. She was doing the old half-face deal the whole time. Did you guys notice that? That was just so mysterious, and it's kind of like Gary Brooks showing us the top of his head. It's very fun. But then we got Connor Carlson, and he's a little muscle man. Then we got Sharon, and she looks like she's in the witness protection program. Kimberly Robertson's torturing us because she goes bright, and then she does this, and then she does that. Am I gone? Did I get knocked off, Marianne? Something just happened.
Something just happened. Maybe. Hold on.
Doesn't matter to me. Maybe somebody's screen sharing or something.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Don't worry about it. Let's get the hell out of here. Everybody go home. We got to go. We got to go do our meeting in Longmont here. I'm planning on doing it a little different way, and we'll tell you how it goes, because I'm going to kind of I've got a different idea, and I'm kind of excited about it, and I'll tell you all next week how it went, because what we need to do is shake it up a little bit. Alfonso, you're a little late, but it's very beautiful to see you. So everybody, have a great night. Adios. See you, Kimberly Robertson. Bye-bye.
Bye.